Jason Winchester, aka the Arkham Reaper, and today we got a little showcase for you guys about what all an awesome Reaper beast does and doesn't do, and what the little noobs of Call of Duty Black Ops 3 do. So you're seeing my I'm in custom game, and I got 5 customs, and because it's not letting me have my prestige ones. And so first off, I just want to point out all these things are built for showing you what a noob would and wouldn't use. And when it comes to this one here, when it comes to the Gorgon, you could also substitute Gorgon for the 48 dredge. Although I don't see the 48 dredge used too much, it still follows the same purposing as the M8A7, the P06, the Pharaoh, and the XR2, which we will get into in a second. And so, well, first off, guys, I want to talk about what a noob uses for specialists and how they use it, because each specialist has the ability to be super noobish, and they also have the capability of being super Reaper and Beast. So first we'll start off with Ruin. Ruin is he's great, actually. I love using Ruin. He's, I think, my second most unlocked stuff on him in comparison to my Spectre. I love using Spectre, but we'll get to him later. Ruin, the gravity spikes. So Ruin is available as soon as you start up the game, right? And Ruin is actually a really good specialist to start off with. He's very diverse, very well-rounded. He isn't necessarily not 100% an in-close kind of a specialist, but he's not very far distance either. He's kind of a mid-game and in-close when it comes to his gravity spikes. Now, I find the gravity spikes to be too noobish, to the point of where, like, you can use it as a pro, and I see a lot of people using Ruin actually a lot when they're, like, you know, not even, like, super noobish players, or just, you know, those really annoying people that use, like, the stupidest things, which we'll get into that as well. But with gravity spikes, it's very hard, especially when you play real multiplayer against people that are well versed in how to play this game, because of the fact that you have to do the jump and go down. Can you do it? Yes. Is it easy? Not always. So if you're going to use gravity spikes, I would suggest doing domination, because domination is, everyone's going to camp on this objective, and then you can come from, like, another side where they don't see you, and then all of a sudden you get a buttload of kills. Overdrive, I feel like that was kind of Treyarch's, like, oh crap, we kind of ran out of ideas and abilities for these guys. We'll just add in something that makes them run a little bit faster. So that would be good for CTF, but apart from that, I don't really understand why you would use it. I mean, say you use it in a game like Domination, then okay, you got to the objective, you didn't use half of your ability. So it's kind of one of those things, right? Outrider, the Sparrow, I've found that no one's using it as much. And if they are, I never really run into them. The Sparrow, man, it's hard to say too much about it, because a lot of people aren't using it, because in multiplayer it's too fast paced to be focusing on like pulling it back, and then if you kind of just quick fire, you're gonna die yourself. So Vision Pulse, or as I call it, Heat Vision, is great for every game mode, but I find it to be too noob-tubish, because it's like, well, I know you're coming, and if you have a good enough gun, or you have an actual good skill of being the first to actually fire, you can get a few kills with that. So it's hard with Outrider, just because if used properly, it's great, and it does require some skill. When it comes to the Sparrow, it does require some skill, but you can get away with being a really big noob with Vision Pulse, and most people use that anyway. So Prophet, I don't see too many people using Tempest unless they're playing Domination, and Domination is perfect game mode for that, because it's like, oh, everyone's camping on the objective, so let's use it. So I find it to be kind of noob-tubish, just because you're basically just being like, oh, well, no one's allowed to touch anything. oh, you want to capture an objective? Well, that sucks. But I also find that it also does require a degree of skill, so it's not too bad. Glitch. I don't see too many people use glitch, and when they do, it doesn't really make any difference to me because of how glitch is done. You can see where they're gonna come from again, so it's like, oh well, he's done for. War Machine. Fuck. The War Machine is one of the most annoying things ever because it doesn't require skill. All you gotta do is see the enemy and literally just fire. And usually the people that use someone like a War Machine are usually those people that are rocket launcher noobs as well. The ones that will just come up to you and blow themselves up just to kill you. Kinetic armor, not seeing that used too much, but it does require some skill to go against. But I find it to be kind of noobish because, like, well, because most people, if you really look at how Call of Duty is played, unless you're head glitching, everyone shoots you in the body for the most part, right? Like you're unless you're tryharding or head glitching, you don't really hit anywhere besides the body area. So it's kind of a little bit overpowered, but you know, the Annihilator. When this first came out and everyone was using this, I thought it was so overpowered, but when using it, I found that it requires a hell of a lot of skill, so I can't really be mad about it, because if you can manage to kill one and two people, depending on like how you play it and stuff, I just am not mad about it, because it's like, well, when I use it, I freaking can't aim it to save my life. So combat focus gives you your score streaks 2 times faster. Noob to beyond belief. All I have to say. Hive, super annoying if you don't use EMPs or you don't just randomly burst like fire everywhere. So it's kind of annoying, but it does require this aspect of skill of staying alive and putting them strategically. But it does promote camping, so it is kind of bad. Rejack, I never see it used very often because it's been nerfed so hard, and literally, usually, unless you're in like a really high traffic area and you kill someone with Rejack, you're literally just gonna camp on them. And so, I feel like if you're using that, it's kind of noob to against you, not for you. Reaper. Oh Lord, Reaper. Scythe. Literally the most overused specialist ability. It's probably the most used ability for everyone. Everyone uses it, and I find that most of the people that use Reaper also don't have anything really unlocked for his, like, you know, building character kind of thing, like all of his taunts and things. Or if they do, they're things that make no sense for a robot to be doing. Anyways, Scythe overpowered beyond belief. Well, not overpowered, but like it doesn't require skill. The reticle is cool, but it's super easy to use, and like literally anyone that can unlock it can use it. So there's that. Psychosis. I don't see it used as often as a lot of other things, but Psychosis is annoying when you're going against it, but it is a good ability to use, and it does require skill to use it as well, because if you run right behind your clones, you're gonna die. But if you don't run behind them, then it basically serves no real purpose. So it's a in-betweener. Spectre's Ripper. Now, as you guys know, I am a huge fan of Spectre, and I use the Ripper a lot. But the Ripper I find to be somewhat overpowered and somewhat relatively well balanced. So here's my explanation. Now, you might say I'm biased because I use it, and I use it a lot, and he's like my favorite specialist. But here's why I think it's overpowered, is basically if everyone comes together into one small space, it's literally just like, and because of how easy it is to use specialist abilities, you can literally just keep hitting it, boom, 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 right? And it's just literally Ripper's just like shun, 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 and you get a buttload of kills. Having said that, you shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't be camping together like that. If you were doing that, then there's something wrong. You just shouldn't be doing that. And it does require the skill of getting in close and personal. If you can put the distance in there and kill him, whoever's using it, then you're good. Active camo. I don't see many people using it unless they're trying to do challenges, which is when I used it only. I don't like active camo personally. I don't think it's useful. It's too short. And as soon as you start shooting or throwing things, you're instantly breaking out of it. So, I think active camo is a noob tube against you, not for you. So there is that. Fire break. Oh my. Pure fire, most overpowered fucking flamethrower in the existence of Call of Duty history. This thing has such a friggin' distance. It says within close range. That is not a close range weapon. That is at least a mid to short range weapon. It's so overpowered, man. I just can't even with that. It doesn't require that much skill either because it's a flamethrower. It's a consistent fire. All you gotta do is fire and then take your right stick, and just go back and forth and in circles, basically. Because as soon as you get there, you basically get a buttload of kills. Heat wave, don't see it used too often, but it also comes along with something else that I'm going to talk about in game, so we'll leave that. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to pick the Spectre because I love Spectre. Score streaks, they all have the right to be noob tubes, and all have the right to be decently, skillful things. So, and as I said, all of my classes right now are really fudged up, but I did that for the sake of this video. I'm fighting one CDP on Recruit just so I can show you the effects of all these things. It doesn't affect his health at all. And all I did is I made it, instead of pick 10, I made it pick 17 just for the sake of everything. I made it so that way explosive delay, score streak delay are down, and the time limit and score limit are unlimited so I can show you guys as many times as required. And so, on Nuketown, we're going to show you what it is that is just anti-beast mode Reaper as possible, man. I'm gonna have to switch team because it's putting me on the CDP, but that's okay. And so anyways, this is how I feel this goes. Like, literally, you don't have to take my opinion for it, but I think that these are the things that most of us can agree upon that are overpowered, and most of us can agree on that are just like, okay, either nerf it or just like even it out between everything, right? Like, come on. So, just waiting for it to load up here. Alright, so first we'll start off with this XR2. Did I forget to add him in? No, I didn't. Okay, cool. So, XR2 and burst fire weapons. Man, oh man, I know so many people that use this goddamn gun. Now let me show you why I hate it. Oh look, I fired one time and he's dead. Literally, if you hit from above his like belly button level and higher, you almost always get a 1 or 2 shot kill. 2, and I just got a headshot because of the recoil. Literally useless. Not useless, I mean, when I say useless in that sense, I really actually mean it's friggin' super overpowered and should just be nerfed. Like, come on. Where the hell is this bot? See? 2, and I didn't hit him in the head. Like, come on. That is not okay. Now, having said that, we'll show you now after he finds me. Wait, I'll just kill myself. Literally 3 seconds in a friggin' one of those, and a thermite is dumb for death of fire. So I don't really like thermite very much, but it's decent. I missed. Okay. We'll let him heal back because I totally missed. I'm unpracticed with these because I don't use them. Again, burst fire gun. This time it's a 4 instead of a 3, and yeah, it's a super easy insta kill. trip mines, they get annoying when you place them everywhere and you get them all the time in sessions, but they're alright. He's gonna shoot it, or he's gonna blow it up. Well, there is that. Alright, so, also, I don't think I mentioned in the other one there, this. Now he can't see very well, and he's sitting there like, well, shit. See? 2 bursts there. Sure, I might have missed some, but it's still not going to excuse the fact that you're still using a 2 burst. 2 bursts, and he's dead. Boom. He just had that super bullshit moment where he's like, well, I'm going to switch back to this in a sec here. Yeah, come here. There we go. Now, this also goes hand in hand with a concussion grenade, except concussion grenades are even more stupid because it makes it so you'll see very weirdly, and it slows down your momentum. Where are you, Mr. Firebreak? I don't know why you chose Firebreak of all things. Firebreak, where are you? Hello? Oh? So, he just uses heat wave ability and it operates under the exact same stupidity as me firing one of these. A concussion at him, so now he can't move. And then I one fire burst him. He's dead. Now, let's move on to the burst fire sniper, the P06. Stupidest sniper ever. I hate it. I've never once used it before this thing. Now, also equipped, you'll also find the last pieces of equipment that I find overpowered and should not be used. Shock charges, preventing you from moving. Look at that! I didn't even try. I was kind of hip firing there, and I still got him with a burst. Like, come on. Shock charges, they stop your momentum. This game is based off of momentum-driven gameplay, and you friggin' do that. You give us stuff that stops your momentum dead in its tracks, and I'm just sitting here like, well, I just don't like these things. Play on a custom game, I basically can't be used. Now see, this is why C4 in this game was better than in previous, but it still just needs work. It needs to be like it is in World at War, because in World at War it required skill to use, because you had to actually wait and, you know, pull down on that trigger, because that was World War II setting, and that's how it should be still. Instead of, oh, I'm gonna throw it, wait like 2 milliseconds and then blow you up. Look at how easy it is to use that. Literally, you burst fire once and get him. You just have to actually hit him and you get an insta-kill. Now granted, it's a sniper, but you still get that super easy when it comes to a lot of things. The wait time between uses of that are not enough, is my point behind C4. Now moving on to the LCAR, the fully automatic pistol. I have used these in custom games. They're decent. They're not overpowered, but they're not great, but they're not bad. It does require some skill, and you have to use a buttload of bullets. Like, last one I had 6, now I have 2. Like, I can't just absolutely annihilate him with the LCAR. So, you know, guns that are acceptable for, you know, burst fire is the RK5. Now let's take a look at the LMGs. Dear Lord, these LMGs in this game were just stupid. So the BMR has a weird fire rate, and if I was talking zombies, I would never advise you to use it because it's just awful. And I'd want you guys to actually, you know, live as long as possible for your game's sake. But right now we're talking multiplayer. And by definition, the Gorgon is supposed to be a basic. If you fire at a low fire rate, 2-shot kill. People never fire at a low fire at the semi-automatic real fire rate. They just hold down the trigger because that's how people play this game. So basically, it's about a 3-ish. Granted, that had a headshot, but still, it's by definition, it literally says it on its definition. The 48 Dredge, also a burst fire weapon, and it also is very stupid for its power. All the burst fire guns, except for the RK5, are super overpowered. The only way you can have an overpowered RK5 is if you are dual wielding it, and if you can get it all the way to the dual wield, you deserve to be able to be relatively overpowered, because look at how hard it is. And even then, I still had to go down to 3 bullets on each. Which then, if it was a solo one, would make it 6. Which would mean I would have still fired 9 bullets. Good job, me. I'm really bad at math. Sorry, guys. But, like, come on. So, things that I personally approve as a Reaper / Beast mode user would use are the RK5, because these things, they empty their clip very fast, and if you aren't aiming, and if you aren't if you aren't hitting them right on the head all the time, like head glitching, or, you know, try-harding super hard to kill the person, it is almost impossible to just super noob tube with the RK5. Like, unless that person's been super damaged already. But things that I consider super fine and acceptable. EMP grenades. If you use an EMP, it's not really that stupid, just because your HUD is not, you can't see how many bullets you have, and you can't see the score, and you can't see your friggin' map, and you can't use your specialist at that second. It doesn't take that long for your HUD to reboost, for 1. For 2, even if it did, it wouldn't matter, because it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like, whatever, right? And like, it's not actually making you slow down, it's not making you unable to kill at all, it's not slowing you down, it's not making you any more likely to die. It's just making you a little bit harder for you to aim, or a little bit, like, you can't use your specialist at this second. Like, it's not hard. I'd use 6 shots there. Or more. 9. Yeah, I had to use 9 there. Because I had 9 on one and 12 on the other. But anyways, so the EMP is fine, because the EMP is not that, it's not overpowered beyond belief. Right? Like, if it was, then, and like the HUD took forever to reboot, then I would be like, yeah, no, just don't. Unless you're trying to, you know, neutralize some sort of score streak, like a Cerberus, or you know, something like that. And then there is the Tomahawk, aka Combat Axe or Throwing Knife. Those are awesome. If you can actually use them well, and you know, you're doing well with them, even if I was to complain and be like, oh, hacks, like, I don't think I ever would, just because if you can actually get a decent kill with it, I would just applaud you for using it and killing me. Unless it was a lucky bounce, which does happen, and I blame a lot of them on lucky bounces. But if they're not really a bounce, like if I watch I usually watch kill cams when it comes to that and snipes. They're decent. But like, if it's one of those things, then yeah, it's fine. Now, time to talk about after he, you know, hey. I died. See, I still had to use 6 bullets to kill him, and I let him have a short little heal time. Over here, come on, You can do it. There you go. Good boy. My least favorite weapon in all of Call of Duty history. I do believe that this was also on Black Ops 2 as the last assault rifle to unlock. And also that this is the last assault rifle, last thing you get, basically, is the thing you get at the very end of your journey, unless you permanently unlock it, which pretty much everybody who is a try-hard noob that is a burst bitch does. Again, 2 burst fire, and this one's a 4. And I think the reason why all the burst fire weapons are so overpowered to me and to everyone, and they're just so stupid, is this reason. So, okay. All of them except for, all of them except for this one, I can literally just hold down the trigger and it will cycle through the bursts. This one, you do have a break, but the break is too short. If you were to go and play Black Ops 1 and use the M16, which is a really good gun, it's well-rounded in that game. Its burst fire is like, whereas this one is. So let's take a look at the recoil on it. It stays on target the whole freaking time. Look at this. If he lives past the first or second burst, he's lucky. And if he does, I'll just be ready with another burst right behind it. And that is why it is overpowered. But now, let's take a look at something that isn't necessarily a thing that makes you a non-Reaper, non-Beast, but it is super annoying. And I'm talking, of course, about the CUDA noobs and noobs that use starter weapons that are just super annoying. So the CUDA is probably the most annoying of these because the KN isn't as overpowered as it was when they first launched. Okay? It kind of got nerfed a little bit. It is still powerful, but it's not as. Literally, I used 10 bullets and I got a headshot, so it maybe would have been, 12 if I hadn't got a headshot at the least. At the most, rather. So, come on. And then, if I was to talk about the KN, it's not that bad. I don't mind the KN. The KN, like I said, it got kind of nerfed, so it's not so bad. I'm just saying that if you want to be, the best, or not the best, but, the greatest and most, awesome of what I would call the Reapers, for, you guys out there, I would say try not to use the CUDA, for the love of God. See, look at this. I just bursted at him with the CUDA, and he still sucked. I can't jump over there, apparently. Alright, so getting back to that dredge issue, because I didn't actually know that we had one of those. Whoa, what is that? Oh, that's a stupid trophy system. Now, I don't like trophy systems. I personally don't use them, but I don't find that a whole lot of people are using them, and if they are, they're not that well placed. And they're not that hard to take out, so I don't really mind. Again, easily done. You just got wrecked. Firebreak. See, this is the thing. I didn't even let go of the trigger there. I just let it fire. So that is my little spiel about whether or not you are a Beast Reaper or not. And I am showing you all the things that I think are not. And now I am going to show you another game in which I will go a full game session. I will show you a full game session of how I play in custom games against a full crew of people. I will show you guys my setup for pick 17, which, you know, it isn't pick 10, but, you know, you can use your discretion as to what, you know, you should take out and not use or whatever. It's really up to you as to customization, but, like, I'll show you what I'm using. I'll show you what I always use, and I'll show you what I always, you know, have. Now, I do understand that also weapons like the Man of War are overpowered as balls, or they need to be nerfed. But I don't think that a noob can use it, because the noobs can't, they don't go for that. They go for burst fire weapons, the ones that give you like 1 or 2 shot kills. The Man of War is not powerful enough for them. Plus, it is one of those guns that you have to wait and level up to get. It's one of your later ones. It's like 30s, 40s, I think. So, first off, I always like using the Vesper. I know a lot of people say, oh, the Vesper is so overpowered, man. Well, not really. If you really play around with it, it's not as overpowered as you might think. So, I always like using extended mags and fast mags, no matter what, as my 2 attachments. Even if I'm on pick 10, I always use those. And then these ones are just nice add-ins. And now I'll set up my grenades. I always like using Semtex and EMPs, because EMPs are fun as fudge. And then if you can afford it, Afterburner and Overclock are my 2. Scavenger is always a good one, because then you can replenish ammo and never ever have to die if you don't have to. I don't really change perk 3. I always leave it on Gunning Ho. I know there's decent ones here, but I don't care enough about them. Next, I don't really use the Razorback, but I would use it if I had to. KN, the starter gun. I know I was talking about don't use starter guns, man, but the KN is one of those things where it was overpowered as balls at the start of Call of Duty Black Ops 3's lifespan. But then they changed it and it became not as overpowered. And that's what I liked about it. And now I got the setup of 2 perk 2s and 2 perk 1s and still 1 gun for Gung Ho. Then we go to the snipers. Now, I used to hate people that use the Draken just because it's like, well, if you're got a semi-auto, you're just overpoweredly cheap. And I still don't like when people are like spam using the Draken, where it's like, like, come on. I'm sure you can use other weapons, guys. And honestly, I don't use the Draken too often in multiplayer. I use it more in zombies. That's why I have the red hex, as you guys just saw. But that's not to say that I don't have it. I do now have it as a class on my thing, but I don't have it as like a, oh my gosh, I must have kind of thing, right? And then I always like using the RK5 or the XM53. Now, I don't use the XM53 for the sake of just going up to someone and then blowing both of us up. I use it for firing at score streaks that the enemy has, or if I'm trying to control the situation and people are spam going in a horde, or, you know, I ran out of ammo. It's a good backup. I don't like using the Black Cell just because it doesn't have the diversity. I like having that to shoot at someone, but I don't rely upon it. The combat knife, it takes skill, and I like using it, and it's super cool that you can juggle it in this game. But for this class, I'm going to put it like this. I need to remember that I have this on it, but yeah. And then I don't particularly use Thermite because I think it's kind of overpowered, and I think it's kind of a newbie thing. Frags, they take skill if you use them properly, and I just don't like using them because throwback. Trip mines are kind of, they're good but bad. They can be super useful, they can be super shit. Semtex and Combat Axe are my go-to. Usually more likely Semtex. And then this is my tactical is always smoke screen or EMP. Literally always. Never anything else. Ever. And then we're gonna get this perk 2 green, and we're gonna get anti-up. So for perk 2, I like to use scavenger, anti-up, or fast hands. Fast hands is great for, you know, oh crap, I just ran out of ammo. Switch! Or anti-up, because then you get your score streaks faster. I don't particularly care about hardwired or cold-blooded or tracker, because I used to think that tracker was super cool and I used to use it a lot, but I don't anymore. I did equip Ghost on this one, but I don't use that on Real Online. I know Sixth Sense is one where they're like, oh, that's pros, man. Only pros use that. I think that is the most noob tube thing to do. The reason I say that is because literally it's one of the first 3, so you can unlock it very quickly. And secondly, if you're actually good at this game, you don't need to be able to know that they're coming from left, right, in front, behind you. If you're actually good at this game, in my opinion, you shouldn't have to. I tried using it once on a custom game and I was like, yeah, no, I feel disgusting for using this. If I was to use an LMG, I would always use the Dingo, whether it be zombies, multiplayer, single player, anything. Dingo is well-rounded and it's got a good amount of damage that is required to kill, and it's super fast fire rate. I don't like the BMR when it comes to zombies because while it is probably more powerful than a Dingo, its fire rate is really slow. But that's what double tap is for. Anyways, I usually don't have a Dingo class, but if I do, I usually pick the Dingo. I didn't talk about shotguns before, but I personally think the 205 Bresci is overpowered in multiplayer. Reliable 2-shot kill, obviously. Haymakers, way overused, super overpowered. Argus, overpowered in the sense that it's got the most range. Even statistically, it shows that it has the most range, and I find that to be bullshit. Just because it's a lever action one, like, and it's stupid. Like, literally, they could cross the map you probably with a friggin' Argus. Like, it's dumb. Talking about assault rifles, I don't mind the KN. I don't use it all the time. It's my highest ranked one right now, because I haven't decided to weapon prestige my Vesper. Otherwise, it would be. But yeah. HVK, I never really used to use it, but I've used it a lot since I started playing zombies a lot more, and I'm of the opinion that the HVK is decently good. Like, it's kind of one of those well-rounded, not super overpowered, not super underpowered. ICR, I find it to be underpowered for how high it is ranked. Man of War, I already talked about it. It's one of those things. Shiva, oh Lord Shiva. It is super overpowered, but no one uses it. Nate Shot even said that it was like the god gun. We already talked about that stupid thing. Sorry, excuse me, Kuda. It's good for if you're just starting off, or you're like prestige and you were dumb and used your unlock tokens on nothing. But like, come on, use something that isn't douchey. VMP, I never really used it much, but in zombies it seems great. It seems like it goes through like its clip very quickly, so I personally wouldn't use it too much. Weevil is basically like the PO8, I think is what it was called in Black Ops 2. The one that also unloaded and reloaded on the top. I thought that it was, on that game it was super good. On this game, I was like, it's decent. The Vesper, I love it. It's very well rounded. It's got the highest fire rate, so it does blow through its clip pretty quick. But if you're good enough, you can, circumnavigate that. We already talked about the stupid Pharaoh and all of its burstiness. Razorback, I find it to be very, very used by a lot of people, but I find that its damage just isn't enough to cut it. And so for this class, I find if you're making shotguns, I always stick with the first shotgun. The first shotgun is pretty powerful and it's really useful. So I always use shotgun, the first one, and I always put fast mags on. I put fast mags on everything.
I'm gonna be dead honest with you guys. I put fast mags on absolutely everything. Like, fast mags is just a smart choice, in my opinion. Alright, and then finally, I'm gonna make this one into a knifers class. So we are gonna want combat axe. And then we're gonna get 2 combat axes. We're going to change that for perk 3 greed. Then we're going to use blast suppressor. And then we are going to have a primary here, but I'm not sure what. We need something powerful enough for long distance. So yeah, I always like using the locust as well, so that's a good go-to gun as well, I find. Monochrome, I like that. And then we're gonna have to put a suppressor on it so that way we don't get found. Extended mags, of course. And then I don't really like having this whole idea. Anti-up, I don't need it. And then where's my fast mags? There it is. Fast mags, extended mags, and a suppressor. Sounds good. Alright.
So I'll show you guys in a full game. We'll still keep the TDM and we'll put it to 250 kills on unlimited time. Same stuff as before. We'll change the bots. They're still on recruit. And we'll make it 9v9, so the team with me on it will have the slight advantage of... Oh, so they're gonna put me on CDP, so I can just make CDP have one less, even if I'm on their team.
But because of how I play and them being on that level, I'll just smash them. So, and again, it's on Nuketown, and I'm still using Spectre, but I will show you how I personally think that a Reaper Beast mode, like myself, plays this game. It's Black Ops 3. Let's check it out. Start off with this Vesper here.
On the battlefield.
Shit. Next, I'll use my KN. Oh, I just tried to cape back and sail it from friggin' what's that called? Underworld. Universal Soldier, motherfuckers. Oh, oh, oh! She's got a shotgun. Alright, let's try this Draken out. Like I said, I have no weapon aggression for Draken at all. Get that grenade in there. Get that 3, boom! Oh, yeah, baby. That was good. I love that. Ooh, I missed. I can't see, so this is why I always disable those.
Sliced and diced.
I'm acting as if I have Deadshot Daiquiri because I'm used to playing zombies with this. Whoa, how did I miss? Point blank range. Alright, let's use this XM, or the KRM.
Hostile there.
Very nice. I'm very quick scopey with this shotgun, if you guys hadn't noticed. Oh, I missed. Oh, I missed again. Alright, next we'll use that Locust running in Knifer's class.
Seraph down.
Ah!
Ruin KIA.
Ah! Come on, the friggin' shock charge. Oh my god, man. Oh, I'm so sorry. Ah!
Kill.
Ah! Let's get this Draken out again. I didn't equip friggin' score streaks, man. Alright, let's get that Universal Soldier KN out. See? Just because I couldn't use my specialist there, I'm not complaining about it. It's not that bad. No, I made that.
Incendiary thermite. Ruin slaughter. Threat neutralized.
Oh man, stupid teammate got in my way, man. Aw. Oh my goodness. Ah! That was a long one there. We're getting there, man. Ah, man. Lol.
They were no match for us.
103 out of 250 kills. Almost half of them were all mine. 4.90 KDR, if that's something you worry about as well.
You're dead already. You just don't realize it yet.
So that's just kind of what I use. I like using all of those things just because they're very rounded. They do require some skill. I mean, you can get lucky with any weapon, but like it. So yeah, guys, that is my feelings towards it. So I figure here's what you guys need to look at and comment down below how much you got. If you use all those weapons and you do all those things that we were just talking about, then you're a noob. You're a super noob. But if you did only like half of them, you're still a noob, but you're on your way to becoming a Reaper Beast. And if you do none of them at all, or like very little amount of them, you're a Reaper Beast. Hit me up, friends, because I would be excited to play with you guys. Anytime, come and join. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe.